Hey everyone, my name is Brad, vlogging name Investing Doc. Welcome back. For those of you guys who are new, I started my own private practice and I like to vlog about it. So let's get into today's post. Today I wanted to talk about shares of a company and ownership of that company and how that might be the golden handcuffs that you may not want overall. For those of you that are new to the channel, I'm starting up a new location. We're hiring another doctor to work out there. And the reason we are not hiring as a partner with a partnership tract is because we want to grow, and that takes a lot of capital to grow. I don't feel like it would be a good environment to hire another physician and say, hey, new physician, you just joined on board, great, glad things are going well for the first year or two, and by the way, you want to become a partner, buy in for, let's say, $100,000. Oh, and by the way, we want to open 2 more locations. We're going to need another $300,000 or $400,000 on top of that. Probably not going to go so well. And for the future partners that I get, I don't want to have to continue to ask them for more and more money, at least at this point in time. I'm never going to say never. So with that, we've offered an aggressive partnership in profit sharing. So they don't necessarily own shares in the company, but each location, think of it like a franchise. Whatever profits that location will bring in, they potentially, the better it runs and the leaner they run, will have profit sharing in that location. They don't have to put money up for additional locations on top of that. That's actually gone over quite well for new physicians that we're planning on hiring. The one thing I wanted to talk about today, though, as we're hiring, is there are some individuals who own shares in their current company that they're with. And one in particular is a group that they're straight up losing money every single month and year, quarter over quarter. They are net negative. But there's a couple of individuals that we interviewed with who were reluctant to leave because they were a partner in this organization. They owned shares in that organization, which somehow made them feel like they were holding on to something worthwhile. Now, maybe behind the scenes, they had a turnaround plan, and it's not my place to give them advice. But look, if you're a partner in an organization where your market share is shrinking and your profits are shrinking, it doesn't matter. You could be the captain of a sinking ship. It doesn't matter if you have the captain title. If it's going down, it's going down. I don't want to be on that ship. I'd rather be on a ship that is thriving overall. We've noticed that a lot of these companies are using this as kind of a golden handcuffs for these types of situations. There's a new company in town that started, and they're a wonderful company, but they gave ownership in the practice. And I guarantee you what the head of this group is going to do. They have a huge private equity backing. Eventually, they're going to say, okay, let's sell out to the next individual maybe 5 years from now. In that sellout agreement, every one of those physicians that is a partner is going to have a clause in there that they're not allowed to leave or sell their shares, I bet, for probably 2 to 3 years. So they're stuck. They have these golden handcuffs for 5 years plus another 3 potential years on top of that, assuming it goes as it usually does with these kind of situations. And it may pay off for them, but that's 8 years of their career. That's a huge portion of their earning potential that you're stuck with that one organization, hoping that whatever the leadership is doing the right thing and turns a huge profit. Now, unless I'm in the leadership role personally, I would never take that deal because I'm at the mercy of someone else, and I could almost guarantee you that the leader of this organization probably has some clause that they're just going to buy out their shares and they're going to kick them out and be gone. So they're not going to have to be there for 2 or 3 years, especially if every physician is going to continue working beyond that. I think with ownership, a lot of physicians, the big thing that we get asked is, oh, is there a partnership tract with this organization? And while we have considered it, when there's high growth, I think you need to know, where is this organization going? For a huge organization that is not growing that well but paying lots of dividends and has things set up very well, it might actually make sense to be a partner in that organization because they're not blowing a ton of money on growth. And you're going to get that back in dividends, and you can stay there long term. An organization off the top of my head that may fit into this motif is like an oncology service. Maybe they already have their infusion center set up, their PET scans, CT scans, MRIs. They have all their locations set up, and they really just want good oncologists that are going to be there long term, and they can continue to bill out their labs and radiology procedures and their pathology and continue to make money, hand over fist. That's great. Good for them. But if you're buying shares or getting shares in an organization who's growing, you're going to be a part of that growth. And unless that growth is explosive, which is pretty rare in healthcare, it's going to take a long time to see that pay off. And you got to be in for the long haul. For me personally, if it was a startup, I wouldn't be asking for shares in the company. I would be asking for profit sharing to say, hey, whatever this location is, I want shares in that. unless you eventually work your way up to a leadership role, and then maybe you start asking for shares in that company as a whole. But beyond that, let's say you are a business owner. Do you really want to go to all of your prospective partners and say, hey, by the way, I really want to expand and double our size in the next 3 years, which means is everyone cool taking home half the money that they were taking last year or two? In the sacrifice of growth, then you're going to have maybe 10, 20, 30 more individuals that you're going to have to go to and convince to basically cut their lifestyle in half while you expand your practice. No, that's not a good situation. If you are a business owner, think about profit sharing rather than shares in your company, especially if things go south, then you have to buy those shares back. If you are going to sell shares, please put in there a first right of refusal to sell back to the company. That way they don't sell them to someone else. And if you're an employee or you're a new graduate thinking about working for someone else and thinking about buying in shares, think really hard about, is this a well-established group that is going to print money long-term, or is this a startup? Because if it's a startup, it may be a very long time before you see any of that money back. And I would much rather go with a very well-established organization that has a roadmap to partnership and return on that investment. Now, I say all this, and the partner that bought into my group, she bought in last year, and she, in 1 year, has already basically made all of her money back that she bought into. It's been a wonderful partnership. I have no regrets. I feel like I lucked out with a very hard worker who shares my same vision. And I feel like I've lucked out in the sense that I even joked with her one time. I was like, hey, what if we take no salary for the next 6 months, maybe 9 months, and we just started really exploding this? And she's always very serious. And she was basically like, yeah, I'm okay with that. That's cool. I got plenty of money set aside. Not a big deal. And I thought that was really cool to have someone who's a business partner who totally meant it and basically allowed us to start expanding and doesn't give me a hard time or any pressure to put more money in their pocket. The golden handcuffs of working for a place with partnership, if it's a sinking ship or it's a startup, can be very real. Put cold, hard cash in your pocket if you're going to work for someone else. Think real hard about if partnership is right for you, because it only makes sense in select circumstances. All right, you guys. Hope you all have a good day. Until next time.